Hello, and welcome to episode 11 of the Sky Factory series. Guys, I've been looking at this book, and I gotta tell you, it's kind of sad that I've only got a few challenges left here in Tier 1. I really think we need to try to get those done today. So, I'm going to be working on the robots one specifically. That one is pretty involved. I don't know how many of you have played around with open computers. That's the mod I had to add in to mimic some of the effects that were in the 1.6.4 pack for Sky Factory. And it's a lot more complex, I feel, than anything from the previous mods with turtles and all that. It's way more complex. It takes a lot bigger setup to get done. But I think that's what I'm going to be working on today. And then alongside that, I'll try to get some Annihilation Plane farming done. I'll go collect some blaze spawners from the nether because there's plenty of them around me. And then I'll start working on this third experience farm because I've already got the seeds. I've already got the vacuum hoppers for collecting experience from mob drops. This essence berry bush, though, I have not got one of those yet. And I also realized that I hadn't collected the reward for this one. So we'll just go ahead and knock that out of the way. Let's see what we get from the reward bag. 64 wheat. Not so great. Not so great, guys. But alright, I'm going to start working on those robots. I'll be back with a progress update as soon as I have something to show you. I also thought that maybe I could show you that the village has grown a lot since my last recording. I'm showing you the first child that was born. I mean, just a whole lot of people. If I just scroll down the doors here, you can see there's maybe 20 full-grown villagers inside the different rooms. Just kind of milling about, opening and closing doors. I've also got them to spawn the Iron Golem, which was the actual challenge from Sky Factory. So, if we step up here to the quest book, and we look over here at the buddy system, you can see that reward's done. I'm going to go ahead and claim that one too. Let's open up that reward bag and get some sand. Not so great, but that's why I put it in the crap tier, I guess. Would have been very helpful towards the beginning, not so helpful now anymore. Although I'm sure I will find some use to put it to. But alright guys, getting back to those robots. I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, I promise this will be the last update before I have some kind of robotic technology to show you here. But I was looking at all the villagers up there and trying to sort through all the trades that they had, and I thought that was kind of annoying. So I looked up an item called a trading post. You can see it's pretty expensive to produce. A few planks, a block of emerald, and then a jukebox, which is planks and a diamond. But what this allows you to do, apparently, is you can put it up in your village, and then you can see all of the trades that exist for the village as a whole. So, I don't know if it has like a specific place that you have to put it. I'm going to assume that it does, and so I'm going to try to put it like towards the center here, which I guess would be right there where I put it, where I placed all those slabs, I mean. Take that off, and then I'm going to carve this one back out, and then pop this in. And then just in case it can spawn, I'm going to put a torch in. So, let's take a look here. All the different trades that are available. Wow, a few of those are worthwhile. Not really. None of those are particularly exciting. This 2 Certus quartz for a diamond, or for an emerald, that's probably the best one that's available to me right now. I'm hoping to get some of these popping up because I gotta tell you, I found out that an essence berry bush is not something that I can get. Sieving stone, like you could in the 1.6.4 version, to get the different ore bushes is not working for me, even with Astus installed, which I thought was taking up all of the same jobs that Ex Aliquo did in 1.6.4, but that one seems to be missing. If this gets back to Love Holy, I mean, feel free to add that back in. You could sieve just regular smooth stone to get any of the ore berry bushes. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe a trade will come up that'll give me an essence berry bush, and then I can finish out that challenge too. But I think I'll start working on this one. I'm going to press up some Certus quartz to get some emeralds. But first, I swear to you, I'm going to go make the robots now. I'll be back, guys. Alright, here is the first step in making robots. You can see here I have the electronics assembler hooked up. What this does is you insert whatever the first base part is that you want to insert into it, and then you make whatever it is that you're inserting into it by piece. So, as I've set up here in the book, you can see that there are quite a few components that you need to build a robot. You need a central processing unit, a memory stick, a screen so that you can type into your robot, a keyboard so that you can type into your robot, and a floppy disk, which is the very first program that you have to put in it. The one that the robot requires from the very beginning is called OpenOS. That's the floppy disk that allows you to program the robot with the basic sort of GUI that you saw whenever you made a turtle before. That screen and the keyboard bring up that interface, and this is typing in the Lua script to get the robots to do what you want to do. So, I gotta get to work on making this stuff because I haven't made any of it yet, and then we will move towards that robot. Alright, so here we are at the electronics assembler, and the last item that you need that I didn't cover in the book or while I was talking before is the computer case. There's several different varieties of all these parts. You can see that all of my parts are Mark 1, or Tier 1, I guess I should say. And the computer case is Tier 3. I just went ahead and made a Tier 3 one because I'm going to use this for all kinds of things. So I figured I'd go ahead and do the big one for the case because you can upgrade the parts just like you could a real desktop computer. So if I put this in, you can see that it's got a pretty interesting GUI here. There's several different things that you can use. These are all upgrade slots for various different things. Most of the components are coded, so you can see it's pretty clear that I put the CPU there, and then I put the RAM there. I'm going to put a screen over here, so that way I can do stuff with it. And I'm also going to put a keyboard in. And you can see here the complexity is going up. 20 is the maximum complexity, so for all the components that you're putting in here, that's pretty much your maximum regardless of what you're doing with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the OS2, and that is your basic robot done. You can program it using the Lua script, just like you could with the old Turtles from the other computers mod that has not been, if I'm not mistaken, updated to 1.7.10. I'm pretty sure it's still on 1.6. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So I'm going to click assemble here, and it's going to take a little bit of time and a pretty decent amount of power. My network's pretty set at this point for power, so it's just down for waiting for that to be done. So while we're waiting on that, I figured I'd show you the other thing that I want to do in this episode. So first off, I've got to collect those blaze spawners. I'm definitely going to be working towards that, and then also the annihilation farming. But as sort of a side project, because both of those are not going to take a lot of effort, I've got this monster spawner up here, and it's just driving me nuts that this thing isn't automated at all. I have to come up here and hit the things with a sword myself to collect all the drops, and I think I want to change that. So I think I'm going to try and make this a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and then also put some stuff down so that they're really just dropping into a hole or something like that to kill themselves, because I'm tired of having to come up here and do it myself. I think that'll improve all the drops that I'm getting and just make it a little bit better for me on the whole going forward for all the different materials that you need from the different monsters. You can see there it's 78% done. Just about 20 seconds left. So let's go over here and we'll check on my network while we're waiting on that again. You can see here I've got all the 4Ks going, and I still haven't used hardly any of them at all. I've got 6 that I'm not using at all yet, and 4 of which only 3 am I kind of full up on the types of items, and I'm just beginning to scratch that 4th one. Now, that is because a lot of my materials are still being stored elsewhere. Like, I've got all the essences up on my farms where they're being pulled down through the farmers, and I've got a couple of chests up here holding the seeds that I'm doing on the manual farm here, just because it's got more crops going than the farmers can accept. And then, of course, I've got like the wool that's over here, and the Fisher chest, which is right here. So obviously none of that is hooked up to the network because I haven't bothered to build a controller yet to expand that out. But I will at some stage, I'm sure. Alright, so let's take a look at our robot. C3PO, he is called. And he has stored energy. If I hold shift there, you can see these are all of the different materials that are in him currently, giving him some depth that you can see there. And then also it has a little bit of a description for him of some of the things that he can do and some of the things that he cannot do. So I'm going to go ahead and pull him out, and then there he is, guys. And then I would just put him down, or can I program him in my hand? I don't think I can. No, it doesn't look like I can. So I would place the robot down, and then he exists in the world. And since I put a screen and a keyboard on him, I can right-click him and program him, do all the things that I want with him, turn him off and on. I didn't put a chest upgrade or anything like that here, so he currently doesn't have any storage. I would have to reassemble him and put a chest inside of him in one of his upgrade slots, so that way he would have the storage. And you can't put more complex chests in them than the base Minecraft chests, but you can put in more than one chest to give him multiple storage spots. That's what this slider over here is for. If you have more storage spots through multiple chests, you could scroll through there to see all of the different items that he has. So now that we've got him, I'm going to play around with him a little bit, see if I can get him working on something. But first, I think that's that challenge done. So let's go ahead and claim that reward and get ourselves 5 blocks of redstone, which is definitely useful. I am running out of redstone all the time. So I'm going to see where I can put this guy to work towards a couple of those other challenges, and I'll be back with you. Alright, and I've got another one of the challenges down. I've made an Emmy Annihilation Plane. So you can see here the recipe for it is not too troubling, really, just some flukes with some iron and an annihilation core. An annihilation core is a logic processor, which is gold, redstone, and silicon over there in the presses. Flux dust and some nether quartz of some form or another get you 2 of them. So having made this thing, I'm not really sure what to apply it to. I mean, the only thing that I've seen it really applied to is helping to automate this thing up here, but the setup for it is kind of long and not really something that I'm interested in doing right now because I just don't use this very often. Similarly, it's used in a lot of sugarcane farms, but I don't really need the sugarcane, and also it'd be kind of annoying to run a cable up there to the place that I've got sugarcane growing anyways. So I don't know, guys. You've got to give me an idea. I'm hoping that you guys will put some comments down there to let me know of some things that I can use that annihilation plane for and what you think would really help me out with all the stuff that you've been seeing me do around here. I am going to go ahead and claim the reward for it, though, so that I can open up that bag on camera. 64 sand. I will totally find a use for that. And so, that puts us dangerously close to finishing off the Tier 1 challenges. I've still got to make the diamond dollies to pick up the blaze spawners, and I've still got to get essence berry bush, and I've also got to make the zombie pigman based gold farm. But that'll be it, guys. Once those 3 things are done, I'm finished with Tier 1. Yay, we're making progress. So here is my new and improved mob spawner. You can see I've extended the platform out a little bit here, and I've got conveyor belts running towards the central one, which pushes down that direction, and I have spawning platforms on the edges of the conveyor belts all the way around the sides. On the back end here, I've got a little setup here with a vacuum hopper, and I went ahead and put down the liquid transfer node. Even though iron spikes do not generate experience, I already want to improve this, and I've already got a pretty good way of doing it. I just don't have the materials right now to do what I have in mind. I've also got an item transfer node that's pulling down into a network of barrels and tanks and stuff, and I've got the vacuum hopper, of course, to soak all that up. So the good thing about iron spikes is that they do get the rare drops that the mobs can give. But I'm totally going to improve this. I just need to make a few more materials first before I can get around to it. So let's come down here and we can see what I've got set up is tanks for all of the mob essence, which I will eventually be getting, and then barrels. The barrels have all of the common drops that I expect to get from all the different mobs that spawn, and then also I have a diamond chest to catch anything else that comes down the network. And so that's my new mob spawner, guys. I'm going to continue working towards improving this, and I'm probably also going to start a couple of other things just to get this going. I've got a couple other things that I'm going to start. I'll be back with an update in a little bit. So, I just went ahead and improved the mob spawner like I said that I was going to from before. If I look down here at the end, you can see that there's an autonomous activator down there. So let's go ahead and take a look at it over here. I've got it running into the same setup as before with the vacuum hopper and the 2 transfer nodes on either side to push things down into the barrels and tanks. Inside the autonomous activator, I've got a sword, the sword that I was using before to get all of the drops that I was using, except that I added the flux modifier to it, so that way it now runs on power as well as durability, so that way I can recharge it as necessary. If I come over here and I happen to notice that it's not charged up, it's used all of its RF, then I can put some more on it and then slap it back in here. It can go back to town. And at first, I didn't do this, which was a big mistake. I've put a water block here since then because I just didn't think about it, but creepers are going to treat an attack from this sword and this autonomous activator like it's a player, and so they're going to explode when that happens. So I came back over here and like all this was gone and I had to replace a whole bunch of it. Thankfully the sword was still there, so I didn't have to make another one of those, but since then I put a water block here, so that way when the creepers fall into it, the explosion still goes off, there's still damage that's put out, but it doesn't destroy any of the blocks or terrain because the water soaks all that up. So I've already had a couple of things come through here. As you can see, if I go down here, you can see that I'm getting, I've gotten a few more drops since the last video, mostly zombies, creepers, and skellies, and I've also gotten some liquid XP. I didn't think about this because I thought that it would come out as mob essence, but it came out as liquid XP instead. But that's actually sort of a benefit, because liquid XP can be applied to myself to give me levels, like if I wanted to enchant something, but also if I put this over a sewer and shower it in, it'll come back as mob essence that way too, I'm fairly certain. So I actually got a little bit of a benefit from a happy mistake. So I'm going to go start those other couple of things that I was talking about. I'll be back with a status update in a little bit. Alright guys, now for the other thing that I was working on. I really wasn't sure if I was going to get into it, but I am. So, here we go. Gonna start the journey on Thaumcraft. I've decided that I want several things from it, and in fact, for one of the challenges later, I do actually need to get into it, but only lightly. I'm not sure how far down into this I'm gonna go. Probably not very far. Just because it's not really what I was interested in this playthrough, but I am going to have to do something with it. So I'm going to start work on that, and then I will be back once I have a bit of a status update on something that is interesting to see. So some of you may be wondering how to get some of the materials that Thaumcraft can give you. If you look in the Thaumonomicon, there is actually a tab for X Astrus's Thaumcraft, which is the mod I'm using to replicate X Aliquo. This is the very first research you can get for it that is actually just unlocked from the beginning. You can look here and see that it has ways of getting the different shards. They leave some nice little riddles here, but it's pretty straightforward in what you do. For the air shards, this one's kind of weird. You have to take sandstone, turn it into slabs, then stack 2 of the slabs together, and that'll get you the air shards after you hammer it. Fire shards is nether bricks, as opposed to nether rack, which I believe it was an X Aliquo. The earth shards are grass. It has to be grass. Dirt will not work. Water shards is ice blocks, which was kind of the hard one to get for me. I'll explain how I did it in just a second. Entropy shards were TNT, as it was in X Aliquo. You just hammer TNT. Order shards is obsidian, and you have to have a diamond hammer for that. It says that you don't on a couple of things that I saw, but I had to have a diamond hammer. I couldn't hammer it before then. So the way I got around the ice was a neat little machine from Thermal Expansion here that I had never seen before this time. I'd never used it before, so I guess it just never came up. But what this does is you power it with any kind of power source. I'm just using an add-on from a couple other things, and then you fill it full of water, which I'm just using the aqueous accumulator that I have up top, and then it will make different snow things. So snowballs, snow, and ice. It'll make those things that you can then use for various purposes. For me, I used it to make ice, which I then hammered to get the water shards. And I don't have very many of them going here. I've got a lot of ice, so I've got plenty of water shards if necessary, but I do have enough shards to get things started. I've researched just about everything that I could find that had research notes attached to it. I've done a lot. If we look here at my research table, you'll see that it's quite full of aspects. Some of the higher tier ones or more obscure ones, like Limus, are not in there. I don't have a lot of messes because I just didn't grow very many normal crops. But you can see I've got like 120 arbor from different trees and things that incorporated wood. All the different colors of fabric or wool are things that you can scan with the thermometer separately as well. So I've got plenty of Fabrico and gosh, what's the other one? Yeah, Panis. Plenty of Fabrico and Panis. And then just some of them are kind of ridiculous. Like I've got 200 Metallum from different ores and things like that. So just lots and lots of aspects for me to play around with. I'm still looking in the book to determine where I really want to go with the research. I pretty much need to figure out where nodes are in here, because I know that there is a way to get them in Exastris, but I do not know how because I have not looked it up yet. So I'm going to look into that. That's what I'm going to be going for now. I'll be back later with a bit of an update. Alright guys, so I found out that I was slightly wrong about this. You do not make the nodes in Sky Factory or in Skyblock in general any more than you do in normal Minecraft. What you do, just like in normal Minecraft, is you find them. However, for us, in Sky Factory, we have to find them right above the bedrock level. So you can see here, I'm at, yeah, right at 0, or right around 0 it looks like. And over here, I've got one of the nodes. So if we look at it, you can see it's got a few of the base aspects for us there. So that's a good find. Not too terrible, not too shabby at all. And then if I come over here, you can see that I found another one. Now this one down here, I'm pretty sure is Pure Terra. Yeah, Pure Terra. But that's good. I can definitely use that for several of the things that I want to do. But this is where they spawn. Just right down here above the bedrock level. So I'm sure there are more of them out there. I'm going to have to go around and make some platforms like this that extend, out in all directions just so I can see if I can find any more of them, because that does only cover 3 of the base 6 aspects that I need to do any of the stuff that I'm going to need to do. So I'll keep looking for that, see if I can find any more of the aspects or any more nodes in general, and then I'll be back to tell you kind of some of the plans that I want to work on, the whole reasons that I'm getting into Thaumcraft, I guess. And now we're going to finish off one of the challenges. So you can see here I've got the recipe for diamond dollies. The regular dolly, if you don't know, is this, just 5 iron around some kind of a plank. So this is again one of those moments where the limitations of the hardcore questing mod kind of had to be taken into account. I couldn't just set it to where 5 blaze spawners was what you got, so instead I set it to 5 of the diamond dollies. So I'm not going to claim that reward until we go into the nether and collect 5 blaze spawners though. So guys, I'm going to start working towards that. This will be the last trip I make into the nether, and then I will never have to go again for real this time. So I will be back once I've made some progress towards that. Here you go guys, you can see that I've got 4 of them so far taken care of. I'm on my way to take out the 5th one. I just arrived at another nether fortress because the other 2 that are very close to my portal are already explored. I've already pulled the blaze spawners out of them, so I figured I would do the last one on camera. I'm hoping it will be pretty close and that I won't derp around and die. So let's take a look here. Probably safer down here actually, beneath the nether fortress. Oh, there it is. I'm going to consider myself totally lucky there. I wish that was skill that let me do that so succinctly. but it probably wasn't. Okay, so I'm going to drop those in the bag so that I'm not moving so slow as I make my way back to the portal home. I will say I am getting pretty good at maneuvering with this jetpack. I don't even use the elevators at home anymore, except for getting like down to the very bottom layer or to the stuff that's in the sky. Or if I'm on the bottom layer of the base and I need to get up, of course. So, dropping, I'm getting pretty good at. There we go, guys. I made it safely back from the nether with the blaze spawners. That's another challenge done, which is putting us dangerously close to being completely done with tier 2. Or tier 1, sorry. So let's go ahead and claim that reward. And then open that reward bag. 20 chests. Totally useless at this point. But oh well, that's why I put it in the craft reward tier, I guess. Alright guys, now that I've got these 5 blaze spawners, I'm going to look at the other challenges and see what I can get done. I need to make a zombie pigman farm for this one. And I still haven't found a good solid way to get the essence berry bush. I'm starting to think that maybe I just need to add a recipe for it, since the actual way that it's supposed to be gotten is not working anymore. But I don't know. I'm going to think on that. I'll be back in a little bit. Just a small update. I am working on the Thaumcraft stuff, but I thought I'd show you this one. Boom. See how that says Wither Soul crop? I finally collected enough essence to make the Wither Soul seeds. So now I've got that building up so that we can start fighting the Wither as soon as some of these seeds grow up. That's something that I don't really feel that right now I'm prepared for, but I hope to be prepared for soon. So I'm going to get back to working on that Thaumcraft stuff. I'll be back with you in a little bit. Whoa! I pulled out one of the single-use safari nets, and I got an ocelot, which I then turned into a little cat for me. So cool! I've got a little familiar following me around while I'm doing all the Thaumcraft stuff. How cool is that, guys? Alright guys, so I think I've done most of the research that I need to do now, so I'm going to show you what I've been working on. So if we look in here in the Thaumonomicon, you can see I've gone kind of far into this tree, picking out some wand cores and some crafting scepters and stuff that I'm going to end up using for making this stuff. And then if we go here, you can see that I've done the research things in the deconstruction table, as well as node tapping and node preserver so that I could get to node Najjar, which will be quite critical eventually. If we come over to alchemy, you can see that I've gone in several different directions. Mostly I needed to get to thaumium, which is required for one of the challenges and is also just a very good material to build stuff out of. I made magic tallow because I thought I might use that to make thaumium, but I just think that nether wart will be easier. I had to get to essentia distillation as well, because what my actual goal is getting a lamp of growth, which requires me to do infusion, requires me to make an arcane lamp, which requires a certain amount of V's. And I had to get all the wands and stuff because infusion itself requires 40 ordo V's, which is something I wouldn't have the capability of storing in an iron wand. Golomancy I'm not touching. In X Astris, the Thaumcraft that I needed was the 2 flowers as well as the 2 trees. Getting these is going to be quite difficult, and here's why. Bam! Look at all those aspects that you need, and the infusion instability is dangerous. So it's kind of dangerous to do in the first place, and Silverwood is just more of the same. It's a whole bunch of stuff required, including the fact that I had to have done the research to get a great wood and made a great wood sapling so that I can throw it down and make a Silverwood sapling. Kind of crazy to get to, guys, but that's what I was working towards. Thaumium, lamp of growth, and getting the wand core so I could do infusion. So that's what I'm going to be working on, guys. I'll be back with an update. You know what, guys? I spent some time thinking about it, thinking about all the Thaumcraft stuff that I had just gotten into and how deep into it I'd have to go, how much time and energy I'd have to invest into it. And the real truth is that I don't need it. I've got plenty of resources, and the only challenge that involves Thaumcraft requires only thaumium, which I already have and requires no more investment of my time or energy or resources. So maybe I'll come back to it, but I think for now I'm going to pass on Thaumcraft. So I think the next thing that I'm going to work towards is getting that zombie pigman farm set up, the gold powered zombie pigman farm, and then I'm going to knock that out, and then I'll basically be done with the tier 1 challenges if I can get an essence berry bush.
But unfortunately, that's going to have to wait until the next episode, because this one's already run incredibly long, and I just don't want to. I don't want to go any further with it right now, so I'm going to put it into this one. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching me play around with various concepts. If you did, please feel free to leave a like, or if you learned anything, please do leave a like. It really does help me feel like I should continue doing this. And then also, if you want to see more of the series, please feel free to subscribe. Please tell all your friends about it too. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.